Hello, welcome to Solving Watercolour. Today I'm going to be painting this landscape, which is based on a photo I took at Rydal Water in the Lake District in North England. The colours I'll be using on my palette today are, going from top to bottom, cerulean blue, burnt umber with burnt sienna, Payne's grey, new gamboge, Prussian blue and quinacridone gold. And in the bottom well I've got alizarin crimson, ultramarine and Payne's grey. The brushes I'll be using are a Japanese style hake brush, a couple of calligraphy brushes, a rigger and a small flat brush. I've got a very simple basic line drawing sketched out and I'm going to start with the sky. I'm loosely brushing on some clean water with the hake brush. And now I'm going to add some cerulean blue with my calligraphy brush. For the clouds, I'm mixing a warm grey from alizarin crimson, Payne's grey and Prussian blue. I'm painting past the edge of the distant hills. I'm not staying strictly between the lines, and I don't need to because I'll be painting those distant hills soon with darker colours. I'm going to put in the lightest of the water reflections here at this stage. I'm trying to work on the whole painting rather than picking out small sections. But I'm going to get a bit more detailed now by focusing on these hills in the distance. For the earthly autumnal colours of those hills, I'm mixing some burnt umber and burnt sienna together. And I'm going to do those hills and also their reflection. It's really important to be aware of how wet my initial wash was, because I want to keep my edges soft and loose, but I don't want to blend out so much that it completely loses all its shape. The ability to make that judgment is something that gets better with experience. But as a general rule, colours will still blend to the point that the shine goes off the paper. Now I want to blend in some greens, so I'm mixing up a range of natural looking greens from the well with the quinacridone gold, new gamboge, Payne's grey and Prussian blue. And now I'm going to blend that in. I've made sure that the paper is dry at the point where the land meets the water, because I want that to have a clean, hard edge. And now I'm going to put in some reflections below it, wet into wet. If you're finding this tutorial helpful, why not like this video and subscribe to the channel. My website, solvingwatercolour.com, is linked in the description below, and I have a ton of free tutorials there, a free course, Learn How to Paint Watercolour in 7 days, and if you want to go more in depth and learn a whole lot more about this beautiful art form, I have some paid courses too. I'm going to turn my attention to the trees on the right. So let's start with a blend of greens and browns. I like to mix and blend on the paper where possible. I just need to be careful to preserve a bit of white space here and there for the little boat and for gaps in the foliage. Before the paint dries, I'm going to scrape out some branches with my palette knife. And now I'm going to spatter some paint around the edges of the foliage to give the effect of some random leaves. Now I've got all my soft-edged wet into wet shapes done, it's time to pause and let the whole thing dry completely. Okay, the painting's completely dry now, so I'll continue with mostly wet on dry painting now, adding darker hard-edged shapes to pull it all together. I want to add a bit more form to those hills in the background, so I'm putting in a few strokes. That looks a little bit harsh, so I'm going to blend out the underside of that stroke with some clean water. Next, I'll put those stones in the foreground in. I've switched to a 1/4 inch flat brush here, which helps get those edges and angles. I'll put in the reflection at the same time. I've dipped my brush in water to thin the paint and make a slightly lighter shade for the reflection. Now I'm going to use a damp rigger to lift out a few highlights to sell the impression of light reflecting off wet stone. I think my favourite part of any painting is adding in the final dark details such as patches of grass, foliage and branches, all with the rigger brush. One thing's bothering me though. I think the reflection of the distant hills is just a bit too light. Luckily for me, while you can't really lighten areas in watercolour, going darker is not a problem. And as tempting as it is to go on fiddling and adding details, I'm just going to stop there and call this one finished. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.